In comics, probably the best and most notable story to utilize the concept of zombies, in my opinion, is that of Green Lantern Blackest Night. It's an epic 9-issue crossover featuring countless heroes and villains of the DC universe, and centers on them all coming together to stop one of the most powerful entities within their continuity, a being who is the physical embodiment of Death himself. Join me today as I take you through the spooky pages of Blackest Night and explain why this storyline is one of my personal favorites. We begin with the short but sweet prologue comic entitled Death Becomes Us. There was darkness, then there was light, and a war between them began. When a dying alien gave me a ring of green willpower, it became my job to brighten the blackest corners of space. Recently, that's gotten a little more complicated. I was a kid when I learned about the spectrum of colors. Everyone over the age of 3 knows it. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. I didn't pay attention to it. I was never an artist. I was just a guy trying to prove he wasn't afraid of anything or anyone. My name is Hal Jordan. I'm an officer of the Green Lantern Corps, Space Sector 2814. No matter how brightly I shine my light today, the shadows won't be lifted. Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, stands over the unmarked grave of Bruce Wayne, Batman. When Barry Allen, the Flash, arrives, Jordan tells him the cause of his death, hit by Darkseid's Omega beams. The two discuss death, having both died themselves. Jordan explains to Barry that everyone showed up for his funeral, time travelers, beings of parallel worlds, even members of guerrilla cities, whereas Jordan's tombstone was desecrated by his old allies, after he had been driven mad with fear when he was infected by Parallax. In his eyes, he died a sinner, and Barry died a saint. Batman isn't the only Justice League member dead either. Aquaman, Arthur Curry, died after spending months in a mutated state. John Johns, the Martian Manhunter, was killed by Darkseid's minions and buried on Mars. The Flash and Green Lantern note that death isn't always the end, and that they hope, some way, somehow, their friends can find their way back. Be careful what you wish for there. As they leave the graveyard, a mysterious figure watches from the shadows. He plunges his hand into the grave of Bruce Wayne and pulls out his skull. The blackest night falls from the skies. The darkness grows as all light dies. We crave your hearts and your demise. By my black hand, the dead shall rise. Now, of course, this character is William Hand, Black Hand, the first Black Lantern and the avatar of the Black Lantern Corps. They came into existence after the Black Lantern Power Battery appeared and grew around the corpse of the Anti-Monitor on the planet Ryut in Sector 666, and fed off his vast powers to energize it. Black Hand had been a character featured in Green Lantern comics since way back in 1964, but it wasn't until this storyline that he received a massive and much-needed overhaul, which we'll dive more into as this story progresses. So now we officially begin with issue number 1. Black Hand explains that there are things out there worse than death, like him, and that his father told him, before William killed him, that the only thing in the universe that you can count on is death itself, and nobody can escape it. Due to Black Hand's efforts, the power battery in Space Sector 666 keeps getting stronger. Surely, the dead will rise in no time. Hal Jordan does a rundown of all the deaths he and his fellow Green Lanterns of Earth have been plagued with over the years. From his father, to Abin Sur, to Kat Matui, the list goes on and on. The only one to get a seemingly happy ending was Guy Gardner. We then cut to Clark Kent, Ma, and Connor, Superboy, standing over the grave of Jonathan Kent, as well as Professor Stein at the tombstone of Ronnie Raymond, the second half of the Firestorm Matrix, and his longtime friend and partner. The Teen Titans mourn their lost allies in their memorial. Even the Flash's rogues meet at a secret cemetery to remember their dead. All the heroes and villains pay tribute to their allies. Everyone has been affected by death in some profound way. Now keep in mind, Barry Allen had just been brought back to life in the DC Universe a year prior to this storyline, after his death saving the multiverse in the 1985 classic Crisis on Infinite Earths. Learning of all these deaths has been rather jarring for Barry, and inside the supervillain morgue beneath the headquarters of the Justice League, he asks Hal Jordan about the rest of them. Green Lantern shows him, and, well, way to be a Debbie Downer. While Jordan is explaining each and every death to Barry, Alfred tells them what has happened to Bruce's grave, having found it dug up a short while earlier. The Guardians of the Universe gather themselves on the planet Oa, and state for the record that they have failed. They done fucked up. They look to call a code black, getting all the Green Lanterns to return to Oa, but Scar, the corrupted black-powered Guardian, reveals himself and attacks, ripping out the heart of one of the other Guardians. Black power rings descend on the corpses throughout the universe, and bring them back to life as an army of the Undead. Martian Manhunter attacks Green Lantern and the Flash, and the Elongated Man attacks Hawkman, ripping out his heart in the process. The Black Lantern Corps becomes stronger and stronger with each blood-pumping organ they retrieve, and Black Hand appears to tell us the universe will finally be at peace. No one will escape death. Issue number 2 begins with zombie Hawkman luring the Atom to his location. Green Lantern falls from the sky and smashes through the bat signal on top of the Gotham City Police Department. Mera and her fellow Atlanteans look to transport Aquaman's body from the land to the sea, only to find his undead corpse reanimated and looking for a fight. While all this is happening, the Spectre, Phantom Stranger, and Zatanna inspect Deadman's grave, only to have Spectre corrupted by Black Hand. Aqualad is killed and converted to the Black Lantern Corps, with Arthur seeking Mera next to be his queen. The Flash and Green Lantern continue to battle Martian Manhunter and combine chemicals with a car explosion to incinerate their undead friend. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, and Martian Manhunter, along with many other zombie allies, crawl out from behind the smoke. My name is Hal Jordan. I'm an officer of the Green Lantern Corps, Space Sector 2814. I was chosen because overcoming fear isn't a problem, but the rulebook never said anything about death. So in other words, I just shit my pants. Issue number 3 sees the Flash and Green Lantern try their best to fight off the zombies. Flash decides to remove the black power ring from the undead Firestorm to see what happens, only to realize the rings are rooted to their bodies like plants, connecting them all together and allowing them to regenerate as they grow stronger. Adam arrives and tells them that he went inside one of the rings and found it laced with wormholes, channeling the energy somewhere else. Before the Atom has his heart removed, he is saved by Indigo 1 and the rest of the Indigo tribe. She gives them a history lesson on the colors of the emotional spectrum, who leads which group, and what they each represent. She also explains that the Black Lantern Corps sees all life as its enemy. Life is what truly interferes with the universe. Adam also believes that the Power Rings are wearing their hosts, and not the other way around. They are simply shells of the people they once were, simulations sent to do battle. Indigo 1 tells them that the Green Lantern's light, mixed with another, is strong enough to cause the Black Lantern's damage, and that the more light that is combined, the stronger it is. By combining all 7 Lantern Corps, they can replicate the white light of creation and defeat the power of the Black Lanterns. In other words, don't do drugs. The zombie lanterns attack once again, and the undead Firestorm separates and defeats the new Firestorm, removing the heart out of Gehenna after turning her into table salt. He then proceeds to release all the corpses from the supervillain morgue at the Justice League of America's headquarters. How much more shit can hit the fan at this point? Is there any shit left to throw? Moving on to issue number 4. The Flash, Atom, Mera, and any other heroes left on Earth try to hold off the zombie hordes as long as they can, so Hal Jordan can rally the other Lanterns from the emotional spectrum and combine their power to stop the Black Lanterns from destroying all life in the universe. Mera admits that they need the help of Superman and Wonder Woman to fight them off. Damage is killed and his heart removed, bringing the energy level of the Black Lantern power battery to 100%. Despite Barry's best efforts, it's too late, and we witness the rise of one of the scariest villains to ever terrorize the pages of a comic book, Nekron, the personified force of death in the DC universe. We are now on issue 5 of 8 of the main storyline, and it's my personal favorite cover from the series. I mean, look at this thing. Damn. The leaders of each Lantern Corps arrive at Ryut and seek the Guardian of the Universe who betrayed the others, as well as the Black Power Battery. Little do they know, it's now on Earth. They band together and power up to 100% as they each recite their Lantern Oaths. And I want to stop right here for a second. Look at this amazing splash page. Look at the color. This is why I love Green Lantern so much. This is why he's one of my favorite DC characters. The whole concept behind the various Lantern Corps and their connections with the different emotions and the color spectrum is fucking brilliant. Easily one of the most creative concepts in all of comics. The Teen Titans, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Green Arrow, among others, enter the fight. The Lanterns also appear and shine their combined light onto the corrupt Guardian's skull. Nekron revives the corpse of Bruce Wayne and reveals a new power using the emotional connection Batman shares with his allies. Many of you died, but you came back, and though some have questioned why they escaped death, you all failed to realize you did not escape death. You are still connected to it, to me. I put myself between you and everlasting death. I allowed your numerous resurrections. You will help me expose the Guardian's greatest secret and return this universe to a place of quiet, dark order. Diana Prince of Earth, Kal-El of Krypton, Connor Kent of Earth, Bart Allen of Earth, Oliver Queen of Earth. Die. The light awaits us. Here we go with issue number 6. So, Nekron has the ability to control the living as well as the dead, more specifically, those who have been resurrected, and being that this is the world of comic books in DC, that's basically everyone at this point. 2 black rings chase down Green Lantern and the Flash, seeing as they both have come back from the dead before, but Flash is able to speed away from them, going 2 seconds into the future. Ganthet explains that every Corps has to unite and combine their energies together in order to be strong enough to destroy the Black Lantern Battery, as well as Nekron himself. He uses his power to duplicate each of the Lantern Rings and deputize individuals to represent that respective part of the emotional spectrum. Barry Allen receives the Ring of Hope, Lex Luthor that of Avarice, Scarecrow, Fear, the Atom, Compassion, Mera, Rage, and Wonder Woman acquiring Love, which overpowers and destroys her Black Lantern ring. Together, they are the last hope for humanity and the rest of the universe, or so it seems. We're coming up to the end. All the Lanterns attack Nekron, but to no avail. He kills one of the Guardians of the Universe by slitting their throat, and Black Hand rips out their heart. Using its energy, they summon the Entity, a being of living light that represents all life in the universe and triggered existence itself. Nekron attacks it, and every living creature across the universe feels the pain. They are all connected. If Nekron isn't stopped soon, he will kill everything this way. However, much like Parallax, the Entity is a living power and can be wielded. Hal Jordan flies towards it in order to become its pilot, as he puts it, but is stopped by Sinestro, who feels it is his duty and his time. He combines with the Entity and becomes the very first White Lantern, embracing the full power of life. And here we are, the big finale. Sinestro, in his Super Saiyan Avatar state, fights Nekron and tears his heart out. However, it's not so easy, as one of his undead minions brings him back to life immediately. You fight me as if I live, Lantern. I do not. I am death. And you cannot eradicate death any more than you can space. No more hiding, trespasser, which is the other name for the Entity, by the way. All the remaining Lanterns focus their energies as one onto Nekron. Deadman possesses Guy Gardner to tell Hal Jordan that Nekron has tethered himself to the land of the living through Black Hand. Realizing that they are the ones that give life meaning, and not the other way around, all the heroes that have died over the years temporarily become White Lanterns, and grant life to Black Hand once again. This causes Black Hand to spit out a white power ring, which flies through the heart of Nekron and towards the Black Lantern power battery. it resurrects the Anti-Monitor, which had been housed inside it. That will probably come back to bite them in the ass later. While Nekron and Anti-Monitor fight, Black Hand pukes up even more white rings. They destroy Nekron and revive everyone who has died. Well, mostly everyone. Our story ends with Barry Allen and Hal Jordan standing over the grave of Bruce Wayne, believing that those who are alive will stay alive, and those who are dead will stay dead, now that Nekron is no longer pulling the strings. The final panel depicts a group of people finding a white power lantern, signifying the future of a White Lantern Corps and the possibility of reviving more characters down the road. Without sounding biased, Blackest Night is one of the greatest comic book storylines I have ever read, especially in terms of crossovers. It's written expertly and drawn brilliantly. It is very difficult to take this many characters and elements and bring them together so smoothly like this. Everything fits together like one big puzzle, and Jeff Johns should be commended for his writing. It's outstanding. I can't tell you how many epic crossovers I've read over the years that don't have this sense of form or structure. Probably one of the best examples is the Infinity Gauntlet. A great story and an amazing concept on paper. I'm not trying to take anything away from it, but could have been handled a little better. It's not as polished as it could be. I do plan on reviewing that story later on down the road, so just stay tuned. What I love so much about Blackest Night is its take on zombies. It helps it stand apart from many other comic books in the genre. Nekron himself is one of my favorite DC characters, who much like Black Hand, was reskinned and repurposed for this storyline, having first appeared in 1981. Nekron hasn't done anything of real significance before or after Blackest Night, but I think that's what makes him so great. His character has a beginning and an end in this storyline, and I think despite the fact that you could view him as sort of a gimmick in a way, just the leader of the Black Lanterns and a form of Grim Reaper, it fits his character, and he thrives in the environment this storyline creates. I don't think he should be placed in any other kind of story. He wouldn't really belong. With how well executed this one was, you're never going to be able to reach that same level with the character again. It's best to stop on a high note. Quit while you're ahead. Blackest Night not only discusses the balance of life and death and what they both mean, probably its most interesting aspect, but it dives into the connection between all of the emotions within the emotional spectrum and how they overlap with one another. Throughout the story, we see various characters feel these emotions, sometimes in combination, so we get a sense that they are all around us, always there, much like life and death themselves. Blackest Night is one hell of a ride. It's a lot of fun and houses many scary, epic, and emotional moments within it. Having zombies done to this extent could have made the whole story come off as silly and cheesy, but the creative team behind it took it seriously and crafted one of the best comics DC has to offer. This has been NerdGasm. I hope you enjoyed my review of Green Lantern Blackest Night. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel to help support future content, and stay tuned all week long for more Halloween-themed videos. Take care, and see you in the next one.